What is going on, y'all? This is John Alsace with Face Mask Fantasy, bringing you new up-to-date fantasy content every day on our channel. So if you have not subscribed already and you like winning your fantasy league, then hit that button, y'all. But without further ado, let's get into the last quarterback that I'm going to be reviewing from this year's draft class, and that is Davis Mills. He was actually drafted one spot after Mond and 3 spots after Trask, and he comes into the league at 6'4", 217, and despite him being drafted in the 3rd round, he was actually the Houston Texans' first draft pick. So they chose with their first draft pick in this draft to go after quarterback because they knew it was a position that they needed to attack. Now I do have to start out by mentioning some news that just came out about the Deshaun Watson saga. He is expected to report to training camp, and while he is free to do so because he has avoided, so far, the commissioner's exempt list, he's still adamant that he does not want to be there, and he's still adamant that he will not be playing for the Houston Texans now or anytime in the future. Now, there's been some rumblings that have coincided with this news that the Eagles, amongst other teams, are rumored to be interested in making a trade with Houston for Deshaun Watson, and the price is expected to be 3 first-round picks. And we'll get to those 3 first-round picks later, but all this to say, Davis Mills is opening training camp in competition with Tyrod Taylor, and that's really it, because Deshaun Watson does not factor into this equation. Now, I do not think Tyrod is a legit starter in the league anymore, and this is coming from a diehard Bills fan who saw Tyrod every week for 3 years go out there and be mildly effective from an NFL and a fantasy standpoint, but nothing to write home about in the least. And now he's older, playing with one of the worst talent groups in the NFL. They drafted Davis Mills with their first pick, and I think they're going to give him every shot to start week 1, and if not week 1, then make starts at some point in his rookie season. Now, to analyze what he did in college, you really only have 11 games to look back on, and he went 6-5 in those games. Now, to compound this issue with limited production, 40% of his pass attempts came in 4 games. He only has 18 passing touchdowns to his name, and with regards to his lingering knee injury, it's unclear if medicals were cleared by all teams coming into the league, coming into the draft. Now, some teams believe that Mills would have been a first-round pick if he would have had another year in college and stayed healthy and showed what his true potential was, but the lack of substantial game film on Mills at the collegiate level is cause for concern. Now, players like Chicago Bears QB Mitchell Trubisky were catapulted to the top of the draft boards based off of 1 dominant season in college, and Mills didn't have that when he was healthy. So he's a major injury risk in the NFL, and he never showed that he was dominant at any point in college. He just showed that he had the tools, maybe he could put it together. To me, now I know we were negative for pretty much this whole analysis on Mills, but there is some reason to be optimistic on his outlook. And mainly, that has to do with the fact that he's going to make starts this year. And because he's going to make starts this year, I like him in Superflex leagues, specifically Dynasty Superflex, and because he's expected to make starts in this season at some point, he's valuable in Superflex Dynasty, and he's valuable in very, very deep Superflex formats. And because he's gonna make starts this season, he's valuable in all Superflex formats. And that's basically it. I wanna have him just in case he Justin Herberts or something. I'm not expecting it. I'm not particularly optimistic he's gonna reach his ceiling, and if he does, I'm not particularly optimistic that it's gonna be much of a ceiling to begin with. But he'll be playing QB in the NFL, and thus he has value in Superflex leagues, period. In season-long 1 QB leagues, you can leave him be, it's not even worth it. In Dynasty leagues, 1 QB leagues, I guess he's worth a speculative ad, but I'm not very excited about him. Now, we mentioned that the price for Deshaun Watson is 3 first-round picks, and while that is subject to change based off of whatever his legal situation ends up being, if the Texans can land a couple of first-round picks for Watson, they're going to be in a position to draft a quarterback high in the coming years, which means that even in Dynasty, Mills might have a very short shelf life. The reasons to like him are that he's starting right now, but he might not be starting much in the future. Once the Texans make this trade, get a bunch of first-round picks, and then spend one of those first-round picks on a high-end QB prospect. So while normally I'd be high on a young quarterback prospect in Dynasty, Mills is kind of the exception to the rule here. So do you guys agree with me that he's really only valuable in Superflex leagues, or are you actually looking at him in other Dynasty formats? Put your thoughts in the comment section below. My name is John Alsace. This has been Face Mask Fantasy, bringing you new up-to-date fantasy content every day on this channel. So if you have not subscribed already, please do, and thank you for listening. Have a great day.